friendly as Dash of Dave. He'll take some scraps and bits of this, turn them into something you can't miss. Junk journals, tapes, and crafts galore. He'll have you begging, show me more. Oh, Dash of Dave, oh, what a sight, mixing colors day and night.
Hi everyone, it's Dash of Dave here again, and I'm back for another crafty video. So, today we are going to work more on the interior of the house. So let's take the roof off and put that somewhere safe over there. Okay, so a couple of things I just need to talk to you about. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about, so don't listen to me. So let's see if I can prop it up on something like that. There we go. So I put this black finish on the edge of the cardboard, and that was really just to make it a bit more aesthetic when I took the last picture, because it was starting to look a bit shabby on the edges because it gets picked up and moved around, and you know, corrugated cardboard does start to go a bit like not flaky, what's the word, tatty on the ends. Okay, so we'd done some of the kitchen last time. I did notice that afterwards that I had forgotten to do this bit round here, and I've forgotten to do, I don't know if you can see it at the bottom there, under the windowsill there's nothing on there. But what I was thinking is I might use some of that wood that I have, you know, that wood laminate stuff that I used in the last video for the work surfaces. I don't know where it's gone now. I might use it if I can find it. So you can't use it if you can't find it, can you, Dave? So bear with me, just hold that thought. Yeah. So this stuff, I didn't know whether I might put some of that underneath the window like paneling, or I might try something else. or that. So that's the reason why I've got that out. I think I'm going to go for the wood paneling. So let's get that kind of done and dusted. I just need to, it's the measuring of stuff that I'm having a problem with, because I can't measure down there. Can I? How am I going to do that? I don't know. The simple answer is I haven't got a clue. Let's just kind of see if I can do a kind of a guesstimate if I do it from the other side. So if I'll go for 2 and how wide are they? Can't remember how deep they were. 1/2 inch. And how big is the actual space? It's 3 and 3/4. So 3 3/4 less 1/2 inch either side is 2 3/4. So if I cut that to about 2 3/4, I know it's going to fit. I might have to cut it down a bit. So, and it's how high? I don't know. That's the other bit. Is how high is that? Right. Let's measure how deep that is. That's 1/4 inch. So if we go from the base to the windowsill, about 1. I'm gonna go for 1 inch. Okay, so it's 1 inch high by 2 3/4 wide. Oh, now that looks like it might fit perfect. Oh, it fits perfectly. Perfect. Let's get it glued down. Right. And then that's kind of the kitchen bit finished. I am going to, I'm going to, he says confidently and then backtracks. I think I'm going to light it. I'm going to wire it for lighting. Now, quite how I'm going to do that is, the jury is still out on that one. But I've got an idea that I'm going to use some of those battery little lights, what they're called, battery lights, fairy lights, what are they called, LED lights, that's what I was thinking of. I'm going to have to rest that on something where I can see it. Sorry, folks. Just want to get it flattened. It's got a tendency to curl because you've put glue on the back of it. It's got a tendency for the I believe it's a very fine layer of wood, and I think that kind of, when you wet the back, it wants to curl back up. You see how it's curling like that? Once you've straightened it out and then you glue it, it wants to go back into that shape. So, but I'm really happy with that. So I don't know whether you can see in there, but in there I have now got like a wood panel, very 70s wood paneling. Although apparently it's having a resurgence. So just going to have a moment where I just have a sip of my chai latte. Hang on. The other thing I've got is I've got some beds that I made that were for in here. And the only thing I wasn't sure about is they aren't proportionate. I think I said this in the last video. They aren't proportionately, you know, if you think about how big an oven is. Oh no, you know what? I don't think it's that bad. I wanted them to be fairly high up because I wanted you to be able to see them through the window. But I also need to make some bedside tables, and I need to make, so I want to, because if I'm going to light it, I've got to think of with a strategy. Now that's the reason why I made this bed, is because I could then have it empty underneath, and that way wiring and stuff can hide inside, so that I can have lighting either side of the bed, or just on one side or whatever. So the lights I was thinking about lighting it with is some of these things. So the thing is, you can have them all on or you can have them all off. You can't have independent rooms. So either the house will all be lit up, which isn't very 70s because, well, certainly not in the UK. During the 70s in the UK, we were having a lot of power cuts. So, you know, it's not very typical. People have been conserving power, not just lighting every room in the house. But like I say, it's either on or off, and I can't do anything about that. So, I think let's do some more in the kitchen side of things, because the bed side of things, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do regarding the furnishings. Like I say, I only want some very basics, and then you're thinking, well, why is he putting a table in there? I don't know. I don't even know whether I want one now. I did think, the other thing I thought about is having maybe a return on here and having a breakfast bar on it, because that was very 70s, a breakfast bar. In fact, that might be easier to do. And I also thought maybe I should have had some wall cabinets in there. But I haven't, like I say, I haven't really thought this all through. So let's have a moment. I'm always having a moment. I don't know. I'm planning having a moment. I wish you guys could actually kind of feed into this, because I am not sure what I'm doing now. If I had a hammer, no, that would be too much. If I go like a 2-inch return, I'm sure I had some card that I'd scored that I hadn't used, that was perfect for this. I'm not proud. I've just rummaged through the bin and found it. So yes, I did have some more. So if I cut this down to 2, and then have that as a little breakfast bar, that I just you know, it's like a little extra. Read all about it. It's a little extra. I'm gonna keep that now, because like I throw it away again, I'll be like, oh, I need that. Where's that? So let's put this together. I knew I'd got some because I hadn't used it all last time. So let's put that. Let's do that first. Let's do it that way first. Squish it down, and we'll make a little join on the end. Just want to make that like that. Yeah, so then we'll, and then what I think is I'll cover both the work surface and the back of it with some wood and maybe the end panel. Maybe that's what I should have done with that. Oh no, I don't know. I kind of like the white finish. I definitely remember ours being made of white melamine. Okay, so I need to make that little bit of thing, don't I? That little bit of thing. I don't really want to cut into another piece of card, but I may well have to. Let's just see if we've got some scrap card. Some scrap card. Yeah, so what's this measuring? Can't remember. Is it 1/2 inch by 1 inch? Yeah. It's making a noise. Oh, no idea. Something was making a noise. It's me. When I lean on the bench with my tummy against it, I can hear like a vibrating noise, but when I stop, it stops. And as far as I'm aware, I'm not vibrating. Bizarre. Very bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre. Oh, this is a different colour white, isn't it? It is. Can't have that. Sorry, I'm very house proud. I can't have it like that. No. Oh, I'm going to have to just cut into this piece, Dave. You know that you're going to use it at some point anyway. So we'll just do. I was trying to be frugal, and my craft room prevented my frugality. See, so I've been stitched up by my craft room. So if anybody says anything mean about me, then I'm going to blame the craft room. So he says, feeling like that's a justification. So now, having done a few of these, I feel kind of confident about what I'm doing with this. Oh, I need an end on the other end as well, don't I? Oh, yeah, Dave, oh, it's alright, you cut more, so you cut more than you needed. So that's going to go there on that end, and hopefully that will just sit and glue, and then we'll do this other piece because that's going to go on the other end. Too much stuff going on in this room, Dave and his obsession with perfection. I can't even sing, Dave. I can't even put that into I can't even make it into a jingle. Perfection and Dave does not rhyme. I've got How Bizarre in my head now. How bizarre. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Driving me crazy. Every time I look around. Every time I look around. Oh no, you squished that and made it go wonky, Dave. So I want that to go there, and then we're going to have a work surface on the top of that. Is this making sense to anybody? Can anybody still see this? Right, so for some reason it's sticking to that. Oh, and I had a lip on there. That's the only thing. Oh, I'm just going to have to deal with the lip. So maybe I will have this on all of the sides. Not to be too greedy, but all of the sides. So I want to cut this a little bit bigger than an inch. It needs to be like an inch and 1/16, I think. Because I need it to completely cover that back bit, which it does now. And it also needed to cover the side, which it does now. So it's definitely got wood on it, because you know when you bend it and it snaps. It's like what's that thing that they do with very thin panels of wood? What's it called? Is it marquetry? Is that the word? Or am I just making things up now? Again, I mean. Don't quote me. If it's marquetry, tell me if it's marquetry, and tell me in the comments whether I've got it right or not. So, or whether I'm talking out of my ear. Oh, look at that! Isn't that's like a very, very posh breakfast bar? So a breakfast bar will have a bigger overhang. So let me just glue this bit on, and then I'll worry about that bit in a minute. It's a bit like me after Christmas. It'll have a very big overhang. It's got a bigger overhang at the top, isn't it? So you can sit up to it. We had a breakfast bar in our kitchen, the one that this kind of house has that feel of, and maybe that's the reason why I'm making one. But we had one, and it had an overhang almost all of the way, and then there was a bit where it didn't. And because I was the youngest, I had to sit, even though I was taller than my sisters. I had to sit at the bit with no space for your knees, and it was just uncomfortable. So I just remember that. Maybe I'm building a breakfast bar of the style that I would have liked to have had. So yes, I'm going to do it like this so that it has a big overhang, but where this is, I'm going to double it over so that it's got wood underneath. Nobody's going to see it, Dave. What are you worrying about? But I don't know. I just am. I'm just doing it. So don't question me. Is all I can say. How big is this? Is this 4 inches? If it's 4 inches, I can fold it over. And then put that. That goes on there. That isn't that lovely? That's like I told you it was going to be a dream kitchen. We're making this into our dream kitchen. If you were a child or of the 70s, or even an adult of the 70s, or you're just love the retro vibe, then you're gonna love this. So I have to peg that because it wants to keep flipping open. Flipping wants to flip open. I love this, don't you? That's very. Is it teak? Is that what it is? Because that teak was a very a very big 1970s colour, wasn't it? Teak. So do I want it to come to there, or do I want it to come to there? You know, I've got to leave enough space to be able to get through there, and with the oven door open as well. like this is going to be like a real place. So you know, want to make sure that if the borrowers move in, that they've got space. So on this side, then I should really have some of the kitchen doors, because you will see that through the window. So they were, I believe that they were almost an inch. Can't remember now. Is that right? Is that too? No, I think that's too big. They were like 7/8 of an inch, I think. I've just done that. I think that's too small now, is it? Yeah, it's too small, Dave. I tell you what, you just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Actually, you could use that as a door, Dave. Or you could use it as a drawer. So if that takes up 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch comes to, right, that's that way round, so it's this way. Half an inch comes to about there. And we're going to say this is the top, so that I can, and then put bottom on there. That'll remind me to do it that way round. So then this is going to be, could have some big drawers, couldn't we? Let's do that. So I'll cut it off about there. So, oh, fingers are in the way. Put that there, and then cut this down into pieces. That's a random. It's very random, isn't it? Pieces. That's not very descriptive. We're going to cut it down into pieces. That's what we're going to do. Let's have one bigger drawer and then 2 shallower ones. Is this too much? Am I putting too much information, too much detail into this? I'm just thinking, just because you can see it through the window, that's why I'm doing it. But like, if you think I'm putting too much information, no, too much detail into it, then tell me. Let's go with that and see what that looks like if I cut that there. Right. And then we're going to stick, where's that going? That's the bottom. So that's going here. So if we do big drawer at the bottom, that's the skinniest drawer. Do that one at the top. Reeded stuff inside. Put that like there. I mean, I've just thought that the other drawers are on the very end of there, and you wouldn't have 2 lots of drawers perpendicular to each other. But you know, I do have to keep pulling myself back into the real world, and it's not a real house, so I don't have to. I can. What's the term when you what do you do? Suspend belief? Is that what it is? I can't remember. It's a term for what you're doing basically when you make believing. So that's going to go there. We're going to put this work surface on the top. And one side of it is the bend. Right. I want to ink the edges so that you can't see the cardboard as much. I'm going to put that on there like that. Yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm going to just glue all over the top of it here. know, we want it to have a little bit of an overhang, don't we? Do we? No, we don't. We don't want it to have an overhang at all, Dave. Just realised, because it needs to butt up against there. And then I can't really glue it anywhere other than just this bit here. So hopefully that's going to be enough to hold that all on there. Oh my gosh. Oh, that looks good. I was thinking maybe, you know, some push pins. If I use push pins in here, I could almost make them look like stools, especially if I use some of the brightly coloured ones. But yeah, so there we go. Tell me if you think it looks silly. Tell me if you think, I've gone. I need my head red. So next thing is I could do with making some kind of a seating area for the living room. Now I was thinking seating areas, what I grew up with in the 70s. In fact, I was born in 1969. In 1969, when my mum was pregnant with me, Mum and Dad went to the Ideal Home Show in London. Sorry, I just needed a drink. They went to the Earl's Court Ideal Home Show, which is where all the new and upcoming trends were, and they bought a sofa that they saw at the Ideal Home Show, and it was a brown cord corner suite in 3 modules. So you had the corner bit that was one of the modules, and then the 2 ends. One was slightly longer than the other. And they bought that in readiness for me when I was born, because we were going to be a big family then, so there was going to be 6 of us. So this sofa, I'm kind of digressing a little bit, I know, but I want to give you a bit of background information. This sofa ended up staying in the family up until about 10 years ago when I moved here, and because I'd had it, and then I couldn't fit it into this space, and nobody else wanted it. I mean, people would have killed for it now, but nobody else wanted it, and I ended up giving it to a charity shop. But it had been in the family all that time, so like nearly 50 years it had been in the family, and somebody had owned it. Almost all of us had owned it at some point, and we'd all had it recovered, but we'd all kept it in that kind of style of a brown cord, and I'd had it redone in brown cord. I would, if my house was big enough, I would have killed to keep that sofa, but I couldn't. So I'm thinking it's going to have a corner suite in it. So ours was a sweeping corner. Apparently that was the term at the time. I don't know. I'm just telling you. And a sweeping corner was a curved corner. So you know me with pieces of paper, and I don't mean not having any pieces of paper around. Let's just see if I can kind of help you envisage what I'm talking about. So it had it would have one shorter bit, and then it would have a sweeping corner like that, and that was a separate module, and then it had another longer piece. And of course, because it was one short and one long, I think it was actually the other way round, was it? Oh no, that was the way round. It was the short bit and the long bit there. Actually drawn it correctly. And if it had been the other way round, I possibly could have got it into this house, but it still would have been tight, and you wouldn't have been able to get anything else in it. But yeah, so that's the kind of thing I want to build. However, I know that a sweeping corner is not an easy thing to do when you're making it out of cardboard. So I think I'm going to opt for just a normal corner. And I don't know really. I was thinking maybe this. So if I did this, and this was the kitchen cabinets, wasn't it? If I did this, and instead of it being that way up, if I did it that way up, that could be like the sofa shape. Let me just glue this and see if it kind of does what I think it might do. And if that's the case, then I already know how to make this. So I'll tell you what, why don't we just have some glue that doesn't come out? So after I've done the basics of inside, obviously I want it to have a sofa and then somewhere some lighting and that sort of thing. I'm going to do some work on the outside of it. So I'm going to start doing the landscaping. So remember right at the very start, when I was first making the house, I had a board that it was sat on. Well, that's what I'm going to use. That board is the bit that we're going to landscape on. So I put that in there. Oh, do you know that would be? Do you know that's it? That's it. In fact, I'm going to keep that piece. So if I do 2 and then 3. Oh no, if I do 2 and then 4. How wide is that? I can't remember how big the room is now. 3.5. I can't do 4 then. If I do 3. Or I do, that's the 2 there. Sorry, I'm just having a think. So 2, that's the 3. And if I go this way then, and have this at 4. Yeah, I'll go 4. So this piece I want to make 4 long, but not furlong. Not racing horses here. I can't remember how I did that. You can remember how you did that, Dave. I'm sure you can. If you just get your scoreboard out again. And you get your scoring tool. And you did. It was 1/4 inch for the flap. And then it was 1/2 inch. So that's there. That's half. Then it was 1 inch, which would take it to there. Then it was 1/2 inch, which takes it to there. And then it was 1 inch, which takes it to there. And then I cut down that line. You know, why reinvent the wheel if you've got a measurement that already works for something? Why reinvent the wheel? So yeah. So anyway, I spent my first Christmas on this sofa. It was brand new when I'd got my cuddly toy. Well, it wasn't really even cuddly toy. It was like, do you remember when you used to get foam toys that were kind of covered in like a vinyl coating? And it was Topo Gigio, which apparently was a mouse. I think it was a mouse. Anyway, that's what I had. There's a picture in our family somewhere of me lying on the sofa as a baby with Topo Gigio on this brand new sofa that stayed in our family for years. So, but you know, if you buy good, buy good, buy well, buy once. Is that what I can't remember what the saying is. Buy well, buy once. So you know, buy decent quality and it'll last you a lifetime. And it was a solid wooden frame, and you know it was upholstered all over, so there was no wood showing. It had cube feet, but they were like literally only about like 1 inch in height. So which was great because nothing really could go under the sofa. So you know what kids are like, they'll push things under sofas. It's like animals. They want to push everything under the sofa and then expect you to get it out. So Also, you know, couldn't really get anything into the sofa because we definitely had shag pile carpets. So there we go. So that is. Oh, does that stuck down? Is that the same? It is. That's good. It worked out then. So I was thinking if we have it like that in the corner. So I don't know what I want to do. So I think I'm going to cover them separately. Of course, it needs a back as well. So back-wise, would it be silly if it was... I mean, that's quite 70s, but it also takes up a lot of space if you do it like that. You know, will there be room for the TV and everything? I think it needs to be... I think... I mean, it is very 70s. A very chunky sofa was quite 70s, so... I don't know. I don't know whether to go narrower for the back. Same height, narrower. Right, let's give that a go. Let's see what that... You know, I am talking from a UK perspective as well, so if these things weren't a thing in your part of the world, then that's absolutely fine. But in the UK, corner sofas and shag pile carpets and those colour kitchen cabinets were definitely a thing in the UK. And you know, I'd love a kitchen like that now. I'd like a living room big enough for anything more than a two-seater sofa, to be fair. But I am a man of fairly meagre finances, so you don't need a lot, do you? You can't take your house with you. So I'm confused about what I've got now. Oh, that's it. That's like that. That goes on there like that. Oh, you foolish boy. You big foolish boy. That needs to be bigger. Oh, well, that won't fit. Because that needs to be bigger because it's got to go up to that corner, hasn't it? Unless I turn that into some kind of a light fitting. A funky light fitting. What am I going to do? Because I quite like that, the way it is. That one is bigger. But I wanted to keep that for armrests. You know what, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother with that. Because I think I will make a feature of it. I'll put some kind of a light in the corner. Right, so anyway, let's turn this into a sofa. Because sofa so good. No, okay. There's some nice blue up there, but blue's not very 70s. What have we got? We've got a brown, well, orangey brown interior with an orangey brown carpet. We could go with orange, I guess. What else? Orange and brown were very fashionable. See if I can find the orange. This is what I was thinking. It's I think it was meant to be. It's going to go with the walls nicely. Although, I don't know, it might be too thick to cover it. It would look great, but it might be too thick. So, I've got this now. This is thinner, but it's also nice and geometric-y. I think I'm going to use this. It's got the colours in it. Oh, Dave, I just feel like you're making a bigger, it's something bigger than it needs to be. I'm just going to cut some of this off. So I get all my remnants from, there's a shop in Morley Market, and they have a remnants bin, which is basically any time that she's made bespoke curtains for people or bespoke covers or whatever for somebody, that's where she just sells off the rest of the fabric. So it's, you know, it's a good idea. So it gets her a bit of money, and it means that people like me can buy stuff that we don't need. So I've found something I want to do, and I'm going to do it. So I need to cut that off about there. So I've cut that off. Oh, let's cut it off about there. That and that. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna glue it down now. Don't care now. I'm gonna use some Collall. Every time I think of Collall, I think of Superman's husband. Husband? I didn't mean husband. Father. Husband. As far as I know, he didn't bat for our team, but you know. I need some other. I've got such an itchy ear, and it's not a good time to get an itchy ear when you've got glue on the go, is it? 'Cause I'll have glue ear. Like literally glue ear. They'll say, "Oh, I thought you'd got glue ear," and actually you've got glue in your ear. When I say they'll say, I mean when I go to the doctors, complaining of glue in my ear. Might as well have just used my fingers, Dave, because you're not doing. This is not happening. Right, I've covered the three sides. I haven't done the bottom bit, but I don't mind about that. Pop that on there. Fold that round. And then fold that round there. Oh, is this going to be... Is this overkill? Folks, do you think it's overkill? You can be honest with me. You know, if you want to tell me you think I've gone mad, then that's absolutely fine. It's not... It wouldn't be the first time. I could do with a really big, thick piece of cardboard to spread it with. I might just use this. I wonder if I can bend all of that into there without it all like being too bulky. What I'll do is I'm just going to put some glue in the end of there. Actually, I might put it on the end of that fabric. Tuck all of that in there. So I'm glad I didn't put an end on this. Do the same on this side. Again, just put it all over the fabric this time. And then just tuck it all in. perfect amount of overhang. I don't think I should have left any more. Brilliant. So that's one of the bits of the sofa. Then I've got this piece that I need to cover. So, through the magic of editing, I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so I've had a bit of a tidy up. My fingers are still very gluey, but that's our sofa. Now, I realise it's a bit rough, okay, but, you know, it's got to fit in the space. So, I'll be very honest with you. It fits. Now, it does fit, but I couldn't put the arm on the other end because it just fits. It's a case of I have to kind of just squeeze it in there to get it to go in. But it does go in, and I don't know whether you can see now, but that is the living room space. Well, some of it anyway. And it's a big whopping sofa, that's for sure. I love it though. I have to say, I mean, like, I don't know whether you can see it through the window. But it's the wrong way off. It's just if you can see it through the window, I think it looks quite I'm laughing because I'm so chuffed with it. So yeah, so there we go. We've got a 70s style sofa that takes up the whole. You know, that was quite typical though, wasn't it? You know, you'd buy something and like it'd be bigger than you thought it was going to be when it came. So anyway, that's the living room. You know, I don't know whether I'll get much else in there, so I don't think they'll I mean, like, I want to put like maybe a light in the back and maybe a light in that corner, you know, where it didn't quite meet. But and then we can look at doing the bedrooms, and then I think then we'll be able to move on and go to the outside, and put the loft floor in and see how it goes. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at the moment, so I'm going to leave it here. I hope you've enjoyed today. I certainly have. I'm really enjoying making this. I do know that these are bowing out, by the way. I will need to bring them back in somehow. I might put a brace bar across the back. But yeah, there we go. So we've got a very 1970s living room as well. So it's looking quite good, isn't it? Really, I think it's ace. So anyway, it's groovy. There you go. That's what I should be saying, isn't it? So it's groovy. Or is that? No, it's that 60s, isn't it? I don't know what the cool term was in the 70s. Anyway, all right then, folks. Take care. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, my name is Dash of Dave, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're, you know, just feeling a bit inspired or whatever, or you think somebody else might like it, then share it. And don't forget to comment. Don't forget to tell me, did you have a corner sofa back in the 70s, or, you know, if you're too young to remember the 70s, you know, is it that something you have now? But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to, and I'll see you very soon. I'm going to go and wash this glue off my hands now. Take care, folks. Lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lots of hugs. And I'll see you very soon. Take care, folks. Bye. Bye.